Yo, what's good, YouTube gang? It's your boy Westend here. I know it's been a minute since I've done a tutorial for you guys, and honestly, I've missed it, so I thought I'd come back and do a full track from scratch, classic 1 hour time limit. So from no samples on the project file to a full track all in 60 minutes. And I'm gonna be doing this tutorial only using samples and presets from our new sample pack at Kick and Bass, Alchemist Volume 2. I can say from the bottom of my heart that this is one of the best sample packs I've ever used, and there really is no bias here. It has everything you could possibly need to make tech house, any kind of like modern dance music in 2024. The organization is next level, and the quality of the Serum presets in here are really mind-blowing. They're not just copying other artists' signature sounds. These are like truly versatile and unique sounds that anyone could use to level up their production. So I highly recommend you check out the pack if you don't get it. It's totally worth the money. And yeah, without further ado, here's a preview of what we cooked up, and then we'll get right into the tutorial.
Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go. Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go. Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go. Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go.
All right, gang, track from scratch starts now. All right, so we got the pack open. First thing we're gonna do is get a kick. Let's find a full kick. Looking for something with some nice top end and not too crazy on the low, simple. Kind of like that one. Can always change this later. Should be a quick fix. And we're gonna start by making a loop with some drums, and then we're gonna move to bass and vocals and some other elements. Okay, let's get like a 4-bar loop going. Consolidate that so it's quick, easy to drag that later. All right, so let's do some drums. Start with a clap. Something a little different, not your basic 909. That one's kind of nice, punchy. It is a little basic, but we can always layer that later. And for anyone wondering, I have a template. It's available in the Kick and Bass Discord. So I already have all my channels like labeled out. I have some processing on some of this stuff. All right. Okay. This is the basics, everyone. No one needs a tutorial on this. Okay, let's make a little loop. All right, let's start going to some top loops because doing hats on their own just takes too long. So let's just find a nice top loop groove. That's nice. Got some faster hats, like a 16th note hat. Not too much percussion either, because we don't know what their bass line is yet, so the tom percussion may get in the way a little bit. And we're going to be shortening this loop just a little bit. So we'll go to beats mode, change that to the right. Like that. All right, we got a groove going. Let's add some percussion. And while we have the loops open, let's see, groove loops. This is not what I'm looking for. Let's do tom loops. That's cool. And let's cut this up. So instead of just using the straight loop, like I love this tom hit right here, but I don't think I need all this because it's going to get in the way of the bass line. So let's take that out. Same thing here. We don't need this hit. Maybe keep that there. You can also, if you didn't want to delete it, you could also just press 0 on your keyboard and then mute it, so you can always go back to it. I like that. Let's do that. But I know I'm not going to need that. Whoops. Split that there. Okay. Another thing I like to do when I'm working on the drums is start to figure out some of the fills from the start. That way, when I'm arranging out the track, I don't have to like go look for more fills later. So let's go do that. We can go to this fills section and we got tons of fills. And some of these may be pretty long, but we can always chop them up to kind of fit a shorter phrase. So let's have like a little fill come in here after 4 bars. Can never go wrong with just some 16th note hats. And to make this a little bit spicier, let's put some auto pan on it. Set the rate to 1 bar, maybe a half a bar. And then bring that amount down a bit. It's just gonna do a little auto panning between the left and right. Helps fill out the stereo field a bit. And then let's do a different fill. Let's go back to the pack. Let's see one of these. Maybe crash. I love that. Yeah, so let's put the crash here. And we don't need all these crashes, so let's just maybe delete these ones. Cool. So a little crash fill at the end. And you can take this technique and stretch it out over a longer phrase. So we have 8 bars right now, but we could double this and, start to add some even different fills over here, like maybe double the length of this, like, oops. And then maybe like here, cut the faster crashes and rearrange it, just so we have some variety, right? It doesn't have to be the same fill structure every time. All right, I think this is a good starting point. We got a loop going. We got a little bit of everything. So let's go, and we are 6 minutes in, so we got plenty of time. Let's go work on a bass line right now. So the bass patches in Alchemist 2 are fucking fire. We had Morgan chained up in the basement working on these for months, and yeah, he did a good job here. So let's get a serum loaded in my bass group. And yeah, the way I like to do bass lines is just start playing around. So, start with like a patch, like maybe a pluck patch, and just start jamming a rhythm to the groove that we got. We're at 125. I think I'm going to bump this tempo up to like 129. Maybe make a little loop. So I like to kind of just stick on one note when I'm jamming because I don't really want to worry about the melody too much right now. I'm just trying to get like a feel for the patches. Ooh, this one's fire. Cool. And then, you may have a keyboard at home. You may, I like to play the keyboard on my keyboard that I type on versus like an actual piano. You can also draw the notes. It's all preference. There's no right or wrong way to do this. So let's get the piano roll up right here. And let's, nice thing in Ableton, you can pick a scale now and have it show the notes. So let's do something like G. We'll do G minor. and now G minor. The root note is always highlighted. And the nice thing about this preset pack is that everything, like the bass, the leads, they all work in the C3 octave, so you don't have to go down, you know, when you're changing from a bass to a lead. You can kind of keep all your MIDI notes on C3. So I've been like super into, and a lot of people have, like offbeat basses and more consistent patterns that are a little bit faster. So I like to kind of just do something like this and then maybe play around with some accents and hear how this sounds. Yeah, we'll get the sidechain set up after this. All right, I heard something coming in here, like maybe a little faster. Maybe a different note. I kind of have to hear how it sounds after that. That's pretty cool. Maybe here we could do, let's see if we can like do something a little bit more interesting. Maybe like a more of a rolling bass line here. That's pretty cool. Nice, simple loop, right? A lot of times people try to do too much with their bass melodies, and what happens is like you don't leave a lot of room to experiment with the rest of the track because the melody is kind of taking up a lot of your attention. So we can keep something like that going. I think I already have LFO tool on, but I have to update that. I like to use kickstart too, and I like a curve like this. And if you wanted to hear the full first note of the bass line, you can always turn this band on. So what that's going to do is it's going to make it so you only sidechain the frequencies under whatever you set this band to. So I like that. Cool. And then the other great thing when using presets is that you have mod or macros that you can tweak. And, you know, these are great ways to create automation, to create micro movement in your bass line. So it's not just static. So I always like to open this up and just start playing with these. So I like that maybe cutoff comes for the last 4 bars. It comes up a little bit. Holding shift so I can really dial it in. Too much, right? We just want a little bit. Maybe a little bit of movement up, and then maybe a little bit of, whoops, put another point here, back down. If I zoom in, you can really see what that curve is doing. So let's try that, maybe copy that around. Let's see what else we got. I like the tone right there. Stereo, not going to really affect the stereo right now because we don't know what else is going on in the stereo field, so keep it as is. All right, cool. So we got a groove going. There's not much else going on right now. So the next thing I would like to add would probably be a vocal. So let's check out some of the vocals in the pack. Here we go, Vox loops. So I like the idea of having 2 different vocals. Maybe we're gonna have like an atmospheric vocal loop, and then we can also have something that's a little bit more storytelling with actual words. So I'm gonna go to my vocal chain here, and I already have a background vocal thing. And I like this one. That one's also pretty cool. So this says it's in the key of G sharp, and we wrote that bass line in G. So all we have to do is bring this down 1 semitone, and it should be in key with our bass line. All right, cool. And then again, you know, you want to think in how can I change everything every once in a while, right? So maybe right here, instead of having this last one be like this, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stretch it out So I'm gonna switch this to tones mode. And these warp settings, just basically as you change the pitch and as you speed or slow up the sample, each setting is gonna kind of do different things. So this is a little trick to make it sound trippy. Go to tones, you know, play anywhere here on this grain size and then stretch the, whoops. Let me just make sure this is a new file here. So I'll delete that. So now go back to tones and I'm gonna stretch this sample out so you can see now. That little loop is this long. Right, so now we got like this trippy effect. You can also try texture mode. Get some cooler rhythms I find with this. That's pretty sick. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna consolidate this. It's gonna resample it and then maybe drag this back in. So it comes in here. And now let's listen to the loop. That's pretty cool. It may need to be adjusted a little bit. So it's a little bit offbeat. Maybe. Let's just make sure this is set to 1.1. Yeah, cool. So now we can kind of see where everything's hitting. Move these warp settings so that they match up on the grid. If we wanted. That's pretty cool. All right, so now we got a little bit of a vocal loop. We're kind of getting a vibe going. We're 15 minutes into the challenge, so we're gonna have to start adding some other stuff in. So let's listen to some of the drop vocals we have. Seductive.
Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then don't think too much. Just feel the rhythm rush. Hit the scene, check my style. Dance floor dirty secret. Promise me you'll keep it.
I like that one and I like the blow your mind one. I think I want to start with the blow your mind one. And when I'm testing vocals, you could either keep it as a loop with everything else going on. So
just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go. Your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go. Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine.
Sounds pretty good as a loop on top of everything. I've got my Westend vocals rack, which you can also get in the Kick and Bass community if you sign up. So this is just adding a bit of compression, a bit of reverb, delay. You know, you can hear it without it.
Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time.
It just makes it a little bigger. You can always adjust those things later. Okay, cool. So we kind of got a bunch of elements right now. We don't have a synth element yet or any effects, but those aren't going to really come into play until we start to arrange the track out and we find out when we actually need these things to come in. So the next step I'm actually going to do is start arranging so I can get an idea of like what this track's actually going to look like. So I'm going to start with like an intro. I know it's a little boring, but it just helps me. That's the way I do it. I do intro, breakdown, drop, second breakdown, second drop, blah, blah, blah. So let's play it from the start. And I don't want the bass in from the start because I feel like we don't need to give it all away. All right, cool. What if we took out all of the low frequencies from the kick for the first 16 bars? Something like that. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna turn this EQ on for the first 16 or for the first 8 bars, and then I'll turn it off. And I'm noticing there's some lows in the toms too. So to save time, I'll just copy this exact EQ and I'll put it on the percussion bus as well. I think that should work. Oh, but the EQ is not on. There we go. All right, so just kind of arranging out. This is very basic arrangement. If I had more time, I could dive into some more interesting stuff to do here. We may go back and add some stuff, but yeah, let's maybe take out the kick right here too. You know, we could add a kick roll right here.
Just let me blow your mind.
All right, so we don't want to give away the vocals so quick, right? Because this is the section where the DJs are going to be mixing in, you know, from the previous track into our track, this track. So we don't need to overcrowd it with stuff. I like the idea of just kind of bringing in the bass, maybe some of that vocal background. All right, cool. So that's a nice little intro that we kind of got done. And, you know, to make this a little bit easier, we can kind of label this. So if you right click right under the loop bar, you can add locators that help you, you know, figure out which section is which in your track. So we'll call this breakdown 1. Rename. Okay, cool. So in my head, it would be cool to keep some of the groove going, but take out a lot of the energy from the track. So the best way to do that would be to take out the low end of the kick and the bass. So we'll do that right here. And we can copy this same EQ and add it to the bass as well. We may have to change the cutoff frequency, but that's fine. Oh, let's turn this loop off.
Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go. Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go.
All right, so it's sounding pretty cool. Let's this is where the build-up's gonna start. I was kind of hearing like a snare roll come in. Build up. Oops, I don't know if I spelled that right. Whatever. So let's just add a snare roll. I like to kind of like figure out what I'm doing with the build up and the break, and then you can kind of go in and add the details. Otherwise, you get bogged down a little bit with like automating and perfecting all these transitions. And, you know, right now the clock's not on our side, so we want to just kind of do stuff right now. That's the goal. So let's go to like a snare build. Let's try that. Let's try one that's a little bit slower from the start.
Just let me blow your mind. You're running.
So obviously we're not going to be done with the snare there. So let's just kind of loop this.
Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go. Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go.
All right, that's pretty cool. So we got some nice variety there. What we can do is we can maybe add a vocoder here. We could add 2 different auto filters. Actually, maybe just one auto filter for the end. We're going to make this a high pass filter. So what the vocoder does is it adds like a noise signal on top of whatever input you have.
Just let me.
So I like to, as the snare roll gets a little bit faster, add some of that noise in, and then you can also format shift the noise, so you're going to get a little bit of a pitch sound here. So listen. You can, it's a little hard to hear, but let me change, excuse me, the dry wet. You can kind of hear that that pitchiness to the noise. That's from the four-man shifting. And then if we wanted to, we could also auto filter out some of that sound. Cool. I like the idea of taking out some of these claps and top loops right at the end. the percussion as well. Maybe we'll keep the crash and the snare as kind of like a fill. That's pretty cool. All right, next sounds. Let's start adding some effects for this build-up. So I'm gonna go back to Alchemist Volume 2 and let's check out the effects section. So we're gonna really want a riser here, and what's great is all the risers are labeled by how long they are. So 2 bar, 4 bar, 8 bar, and the key as well. So let's try one of these buzzy, because this one's a little bit closer. Not that it really matters because we could pitch from G, but we only have to pitch it down 1 semitone. So this is Ableton's trying to warp this sound, but it doesn't really have any beats to it, so it's having a difficult time. But Morgan luckily put in the BPM of what this riser is, so we can just change this to 128, and it should be a perfect 8 bar riser here. So
just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go. Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go. Just let me.
All right, cool. So we got a little bit of energy coming in. Let's try with like a noise effect. So we should just have like maybe a nice standard white noise uplifter. Very neutral, but it's going to help a lot. And let's have that end right here. Everything's kind of ending at the same spot.
You're running out of time. One you're mine. Don't think, just go. Just let.
And maybe we want that go right here.
Go. Just let.
Let's delete that too.
Don't think, just go. Just let me.
That's sick. Okay, cool. The go hits a lot harder when there's nothing else there, I've just realized. All right, cool. And then maybe like one other synth sound here, but we may figure out what that sound should be a little bit later on the track, so we don't have to add it right here. The other thing we could do is focus on, we're focusing a lot on this transition of the build-up, which is the build section that goes into the drop, but we could also think about the intro into the breakdown section. So a nice thing to do there would be have like maybe a reverse crash. So we can go to the drum sounds, one shot, cymbals, crashes. Oh, I also saw cymbal transitions. See. They're a little orchestral for me, so you can always... I just heard it. There we go. That's like a more housey kind of crash sound. So we'll add that here. And then super easy. In order to make a reverse crash, all you got to do is duplicate the sound, press R, and then just line it up however you like. Whatever, something like that.
Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time.
Another easy thing to do is add some reverb, or in this case, I like to use Endless Smile on your drum group. So it'll add some more tension building during your build. So just draw a point here and there. Cool. So yeah, you can hear what that's doing. And maybe I don't want it on the crashes and stuff, so I'm just gonna group my clap and hats. We can call that tops, and then we can just drag this Endless Smile there, so it's not affecting everything. Okay, cool. Oh, I just realized I've been doing this a little bit early, so this should actually all this stuff needs to go here.
Blow your mind, you're running out of...
Little boo-boo, we're gonna lose a bit of time on that, but that's fine. So what I did was I forgot that the build-up was actually 16 bars. So this needs to go over here. Then that can go down, and then also these drums go there. We don't need the crash here because we're not done with the build up. Maybe we can keep the snare.
Don't think, just go. Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go. Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go.
That's cool. One thing I just thought of is, remember those macros on the bass that we had, like the cutoff? Why don't we grow this fully so the bass is really opening up here?
You're running out. Just go. Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go.
Cool. All right, so this is going to be drop 1. And we've just used the vocal for like 16 bars. So in my opinion, if we keep the vocal going, it's going to be a bit repetitive and not super interesting. So I kind of want to like leave the vocal aside and focus more on using like a synth sound here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the, just like the drums and the bass. We're going to make another loop here. Cool, so we kind of have like our platter that we're serving the dish on, and now we got to figure out like what's the main course right here. And this is going to be like a lead synth sound, so I have my lead synth bus, and I'm going to throw an instance of Serum here, and we're going to open up Alchemist Volume 2. And now, you know, we can kind of move anywhere we want, but let's start with like the lead sounds. And we also, if we're feeling extra lazy today or we're crunched on time, we can go to some of the, there should be MIDI here. Maybe not. All good. I think maybe it's in the basses here. Yeah, so for the basses, you have MIDI, which you can add, which makes it a lot easier if you want to try different presets. But I don't think we have that for the synth sounds, but all good. So let's turn our keyboard on. I mean, that's pretty sick. I kind of like a triplet note there, maybe. Let's try something like that. So I'm going to zoom in here so we can kind of see what we're doing.
Go.
Boom, 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 boom. That's what I'm hearing in my head. And then some automation. So let's draw out. And another tip is, you know, Ableton gives you these nice like grids that you can kind of snap your notes to and stuff, and that's great and all, but a lot of times you get a lot more interesting patterns if you hold Option or Alt, and then you can see the grids kind of get dotted. So it allows you to like stretch your notes on a continuous basis. So not everything, even though the notes are hitting on the grid, the length of the note isn't snapped. And I find that that's super helpful for getting just like more interesting sounding leads. I actually kind of like it like this. Boom, ba-dum, boom, 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 boom. Maybe some shorter notes here. Maybe something like this. Maybe we can go, whoops, let's try going up a little bit, maybe. All right, let's keep it at G, keep it simple. Open up the patch and let's start playing with this cutoff. I like the idea of kind of growing this a little bit. All right, we can also, maybe if we wanted to go extra crazy, we could play with the resonance a bit. Maybe go down and then back up, kind of following the cutoff. All right, cool. So we're doing a little bit of call and response here. So we're going to need another instance of Serum so we can get another sound here. And I'm not mixing or processing anything right now. That can all kind of come later. So let's go to, whoops, fuck you, Deceiver, Alchemist, baby. Let's go to another lead. I'm just going to pick a random one. Ooh.
go.
Maybe something like boom, 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 and then this this kind of lead organ sound can come in on the offbeat. I like that. Too long. Maybe it comes in here. All right, let's listen.
Just go.
All right, so same thing here. Let's see what we can automate. Oh, that's cool. So maybe these three go up. And then maybe... I don't like the song filter. All right, so maybe we can add a little bit more delay onto this. That's just to fill, because I mean, you could visually see there's just one note and a lot of gap, right? So a delay is going to help fill out that space a little bit, not make it feel so empty. All right, that's pretty cool. I think maybe another sound right here. So let's try one more. And if you have too many synth sounds, it can kind of get a little bit hard for the listener to digest everything, so to speak. There's too many flavors on the plate. But let's try some of these FX sounds instead of the leads. So... this is going to be fun. There's a lot to play with here. So let's just draw a note right here. Just get the sound in, and then we're going to start tweaking it. Let's just draw it twice because we may want it differently the first time than the second. So it says right here, automate macros up one at a time, 1 through 4. We're literally giving you guys the blueprint of what to do. So let's start with this one. And what I like to do is make a loop. I actually like it the slowest. Let's try this out. Ooh, I just thought of another really cool idea. We can use this later in the breakdown, so I'm not going to automate that here. All right, cool. So I think let's leave this one as is because I think it sounds pretty good. And then on this one, maybe we can change the speed so it's a little bit faster, or it goes up like. All right, cool. So now we got like two kind of fill areas and a drop. And, you know, we have this nice vocal. So why don't we use the vocal to help fill in some of these fills? So I just like to copy and paste and see how it sounds.
Just let me blow your mind. Just let me blow your mind.
Okay, cool. So I like how all this sounds. Let's now take this and copy and paste it. And now we're going to have drop, we'll call this drop 1.2. I know some of these are lowercase, some of these are uppercase, whatever. So drop 1.2. This would be a great time to add some more drums, maybe like a background synth, something to keep the same vibe as we got going, but to add a little bit more spice. So I'm going to go to the loop section and we're going to see if we can get like a quick drum loop, like maybe a ride loop. So let's go drums, loops, ride loops. Perfect. Something like this. And then I like on my rides to add a bit of sidechain just because it's a very sustained kind of sound. There's always a ride going, so a little bit of sidechain, 50%.
Just let me blow your mind.
I think that's enough there. Like maybe this vocal pad that we had, I kind of muted it for this breakdown. So let's mute it again there so we don't have it. Let's see what that sounds like.
Just let me blow your mind. Just let me blow your mind.
It's okay. It's a little bit crowded. I think it's better simpler then. So let's take that out here. And then we're going to have something I call cooldown section here. So this is going to help bring us to breakdown number 2. Really easy technique. You can get very creative here with what you want to do. But essentially, the idea behind it is that you have a lot going on in the drop and you kind of want to like take some elements out. So you don't want too much going on. But I like the idea of maybe kick and bass and then maybe just... see, the open hat is in the top loop, so this is going to be, we have to get a little crafty here, but maybe we can just take this top loop and then take this sound out of it, delete everything else, and then just loop that. Okay, cool. So see how this sounds.
Just let me blow your mind.
Cool, that's cool. I don't think we need any of that bass automation here because we're just trying to keep it chill. So let's delete that. And then maybe some of the transition effects that we had from before. So let's grab that bad boy, put it here. We didn't put a down effect, so that's fine. We could also maybe add this white noise sweep here. Just... I feel like sweeps in the drops really tell someone that like the drop's going to be over because you kind of hear the white noise coming in. So let's, whoops. So we got 20 minutes left in the challenge. We are 40 minutes in. So I got to pick up the pace a little bit if we want to get a full song done here.
Just let me blow your mind.
Another thing I was hearing is like maybe let's put a big delay at the end of mind. Delay. Cool. And we're going to turn this delay on only for that last word, mind. We'll start the dry wet at 0 and move it up. So whatever, 50%. We'll have a long feedback because there's a lot of room here, right? So we really want that delay to fill out the space. And yeah, let's just listen. Maybe this sound, you can hear it's still going, right? Maybe this sound we can filter in so it's not coming in. All right, that sounds sick. The idea that I had before, and this is kind of what I brought up before, which is like, we don't necessarily need to add like a pad or another synth to the buildup because maybe we can resample a sound from the drop. And that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I have this sound, which is the... which is a bit annoying on its own, but what I'm thinking is we can slowly filter this in the cooldown section, and then this can be the main driver for build up number 2. So we're gonna call this build 2, right at 73, and then what we're gonna have to do is add a filter here. So you can kind of hear it coming in a bit. And let's just add the other elements before we start tweaking that sound, but I think it'll work. So let's listen.
Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't.
And then like here, I was hearing maybe like a closed hi-hat, like fast 16th note closed hi-hat pattern. So let's just really quickly grab a closed hi-hat. There, where are you? That one's perfect. Okay. Probably be a little quicker doing this in MIDI, but let's see. Okay, I like to make this one a little bit quieter, so I'm just bringing the gain down. Copy that, copy that, copy that.
Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go. Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time.
That's the problem. This vocal and this don't really work at the same time. So what we can do really quickly to make this a bit better is add endless smile to the sound and then fade it out right at the end here. So
just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go. Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go.
all right, so the idea I have in my head is let's loop this go right here. And then we can do some trippy ass effects on the go. And then what we can do is start to modulate this serum preset that we have here with the pitch. Because pitch is always going to get people hyped up in a build-up. It's just, it naturally tells people that like to get ready for something's coming. So
go, 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 go.
All right, so we're right here. Sorry.
Don't think, just go, 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 go.
I like the idea of also bringing in the filtered kick and bass here. So let's go back to this breakdown and just copy this. The good thing is we already added the automation, so it's going to make it a lot quicker.
Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Go, 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 go.
All right, so it's not gonna, I don't want it to last too long. So what I'm gonna do is just keep it to there. And yeah. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to some of our builds from before. So let's go to the effects. So we have this 8-bar effects, so we can add that.
Just let me blow you.
So this is really, this should be called breakdown 2. And then this is going to be called build up 2. So if anyone's wondering right now, what I just hit in my brain is something called like a flow state. So it's kind of where like I can see the end line of the track and everything I need to do, and my brain is working faster than like my hands and fingers can work. So I basically know exactly what I need to do to finish the track. And if you can get into a flow state, it's the best, because like you're just locked in. It's like playing a sport. You don't think about anything else in the moment. So I kind of just hit a flow state. So I'm just going to do a bunch of stuff right now. We got 14 minutes and I'm pretty confident we can finish this and make it sound decent. So, okay, next thing is snare roll from here. We're just going to use the fast part.
Go, 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 go,
all right, and then right here, we're going to have to do not that. We're going to do
don't think, just go.
Don't think, just go.
Go, go. Don't think, just go.
And then same thing here. We probably have to change this to there, whatever. It's not a big deal. So no other drums, except we could maybe put the endless smile effect. So where's the drop? Drop 2 is right here. So we're going to put this endless smile.
Go, 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 go.
So same thing with this effects. It's still going. We want that to end there. All right, and then the last thing that needs to be automated here is like this go, go, go. I'm just gonna consolidate it just to make it a little bit easier to look at. What I want to do is, this is something Max Styler showed me. It's a really cool effect. It's called Spectral Resonator. So what it does is it kind of just like resonates the, which isn't a great explanation. I don't know. It just like highlights certain frequencies and you can change this frequency here. Kind of makes it sound like robotic. So I'm going to set this to be G2. You can even go down an octave. Trippy shit with this. Let's bring the decay down, and then we're going to open up this dry wet a bit. We don't want the last one to be modulated, so
Go, 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 don't think, just go.
Okay, cool. And then the other thing maybe we could do is add a little bit of reverb here. So let's just go to our reverb bus, reverb, and then, yeah, we're just going to be opening up the dry wet on the reverb. Where's that? Right here. Start at 0. Bring it back down here. And then same thing with decay time. We can kind of, there's no right or wrong here. Just want a little, more decay on that reverb, and then a little bit less at the end. Doesn't really matter.
Go, 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 go. Don't think, just go.
Pretty cool.
Go, go.
All right, let's listen to that really quickly, and then let's do the last drop, and then any other finishing touches.
In your mind, don't think, just go, 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 don't think, just go.
All right, cool. So this is going to be the last drop. We have a big build up here, so I kind of like the idea of maybe just doing, let's see what the kick and bass sounds like. Maybe that with the synths.
Don't think, just go.
All right, this sound is like the weakest part, so whatever, we'll keep it for drop 1. I don't have time to go back and change it, but like I like the idea of maybe keeping these notes and then here doing one long note. So we're gonna need another serum instance. None of these are named, but we don't have time to name it. Less than 10 minutes, we're at 50:39. So this is going to be serum, and I'm hearing like a dirty, nasty synth, like maybe like a Reese bass or like a neuro bass, and I think I saw some of those in here. Neuro, there we go. This could be too crazy, but fuck it, we're gonna try it. Then just fucking hits you right there. All right, so we want that. So it looks like you can always check the modulation matrix. So it looks like LFO1's going to filter cutoff. All right, so we definitely don't need any bass here because we already have the bass. So let's cut that out. And then let's take that out. And then maybe, yeah, let's play with like... All right, that sounds pretty fucking gnarly. We could also maybe do a pitch bend on this. So let's change this pitch bend range to -2 on both sides. I don't know why just 2. Ah! Go up, sir. I don't know why it's so glitchy, that shit. All right. And then we're gonna just, hit that bend wheel, pitch bend wheel. And we're just gonna try both directions. Let's try down. Let's hear it in context.
Don't think, just go.
All right, that's kind of cool. Maybe add some sidechain. Sidechain. Not that much. Let's try this one. Whatever this, what is alpha 1? Filter cutoff? Whatever is affecting filter cutoff. Yeah, macro 2. I like the end of the sound. Whatever, I don't have time to figure out, this is why I'm not a serum wizard, to figure out how to stop the end of the sound from going. Maybe play with this. That's kind of cool. And then we could do the same thing here, but maybe do it a little bit differently. All right, we got 5 minutes left.
Don't think, just go.
All right, same thing here. Let's copy our vocals over, and then we can start to add the, let's add, what was I gonna add? The loop.
Go, go, go. Just let me blow your mind.
Okay, so what do we have? We have the percussion sounds. We have this stuff. And then remember that closed hi-hat we added here. I like the idea of having more energy in the last track.
Just let me blow your mind. Just let me blow your mind.
Okay, and then maybe for the last part of the track, we can add the ride that we had. And then we can also just add the full vocal loop that we had before. Like this.
Don't think, just
Right here.
Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go. Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go.
All right, cool. So this is going to be outro right here. We got 4 minutes left. So we're going to do outro and then maybe quick mix stuff. So outro, I just like to do the drum, the intro backwards pretty much. So take the second half of the intro, copy that first, then take the first half of the intro, copy that last. Could do the effects that we had here.
Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go. Just let me blow your mind. You're running out of time. One touch and then you're mine. Don't think, just go.
Maybe keep those 16th note hats running a bit. Just higher energy. Okay, cool. Track done. We got 3 minutes left. I actually really like this track, which is surprising. Usually I think when I have only an hour to make a track, it's shit. But sometimes being forced to do stuff in a small period of time gets your brain working a little differently. So yeah, didn't really do much mixing stuff here other than like volume setting. But I would probably go in and really like fine tune some of the stuff that may be a little bit too loud, a little bit too quiet in certain areas. Do my usual EQ checks of, making sure there's not any low end we don't want. The goal with mixing here is really to get your perceived loudness up. So the way you do that is you kind of take away things that you don't need from certain elements, filter out. If you have a sound that's like a hi-hat, that closed hi-hat I was just messing with, that sound has frequencies going all the way up to 20,000 hertz. We don't really need all that. So if we can take a little bit of it off, if we do that enough, eventually we're going to save some loudness room on the master for our limiter when it's working. So that's what I would do if I was like mixing the track. But yeah, other than that, we're done. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to subscribe to our channel and to like and leave a comment. It really helps. We're really trying to grow this channel right now. And if you're not a member of the Kick and Bass community, you can check us out at www.kick-bass.com. We have a lot of new exciting features and announcements to make soon, but we're a community of over 500 strong, and it's really the best place to learn music production. We have tons more videos like this from myself and all of our other coaches, and we get guest coaches every week, and it's just a fun place to learn music. So I highly recommend you check it out. You can always message me if you have any questions about the Discord. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial.